I'm having a kind of salad-ish sort of thing, and James is having salmon with a wild rice, avocado, potato, that sort of stuff. And I'm gonna review Money Magic, Practical Wisdom and Empowering Rituals to Heal Your Finances by The Money Witch and Art by Broobs. And so I read through this whole thing. It didn't take me long, maybe a couple hours or something yesterday. And when I first saw the cover, I thought, well, that's attractive. And when I looked through the artwork, the collage art by Broobs, I enjoyed that quite a lot. And so I was looking through this book, and well, I read everything in it. She writes
some of it you read out loud to me.
Some of it I did, yeah. But it's not long. It's 208 pages in total, but there's a lot of collage art and stuff involved with that. I'll say that the Money Witch, she is very crafty. And she was very wise to pick up Broobs to be a part of this project, because without it, she wouldn't have had success. So she was guided in the right direction to find Broobs to work with her on this. Now, having said that, it reads as though she is a student, and that's great. It's great to be a student the whole way through your whole life, to just keep learning.
It's the only way to be, really.
Yeah. But if you're still a student in one aspect, say money magic, maybe it's not time to write a book yet. I couldn't really get anything out of here to help me at all. Although I did find it a comfortable read. So
I mean, you didn't disagree with a lot of the stuff she was saying.
Yeah.
But you'd already figured it out, maybe.
But
25 years ago.
Yeah, and I suppose there's a lot of people out there that haven't had good role models to show them how to actually work for their money and save it properly.
Get their money working for them.
Yeah. So, I mean, when James introduced me to his family, he said I was independently wealthy. And I mean, you've seen where I live here.
But it was true.
I mean, I live in one of the poorest houses in Lethbridge, I would say. It's in an alley. So, but I put some sweat equity into it over the years, and then a lot of it wore down because I got depressed, but whatever. My garden is still lovely. I
was noticing today, very green.
Yes. The tulips are almost
coming around. It's May, so.
But anyway, what James, like when he said that, I was like, why are you telling your family this? You know, like, and then I realized over the years, well, it's true. Like he said to me one day, he said, it's not what you make, it's what you spend. So if you live within your means, you're wealthy.
Independently.
Yeah. And I mean, we eat well, very well. We went to the store yesterday, and this time of year here in Canada, salmon's on sale because it's local. They fish it right out of Canada and ship it off to Superstore, and we pick it up for really cheap. It's, you know, if you get it this time of year, you don't spend a lot for salmon.
It's about $8.50 to $9 for each salmon.
Yeah, like this one was the biggest salmon that I cooked, so that was $8.80 for this salmon, and it's I mean, it's huge. There's a lot of meat on this bone.
So that's several meals, right?
Yeah. And so we splurge and get things that are also local, like wild rice, right from Canada.
There you go.
It's wonderful. And some of the things were like, I bought the cilantro, which was grown locally, and I had bought the white beans. And here in Canada, they grow and harvest and shell or pod or whatever you want to call it, the peas and beans mechanically. And so it's done without slave labor here in Canada, because that's what mechanization is about. It's about avoiding slave labor. So in countries where you use mechanization instead, that's a good thing. Now there's some things that I have problems with the mechanization process when it comes to companies contracting farmers to grow for them, and then they just go in and harvest, and they don't care about the land or anything like that, because it's not their land. You know, they've contracted to the farmer to produce this, and they have to produce, once they've signed the contract, they have to produce that crop and get that yield. You know, they have to produce it in the specified way and get that yield the specified way, and then the
On a certain time.
the harvesters
too, right?
come in, and it doesn't matter if the soil's wet and it's going to get compacted like crazy. They just go in and they get it.
That's running things.
So
That's
it's because
private enterprise.
that's their
running things like
it's their
commies.
crop. They want the crop. They don't care about the land. So I have a problem with that. But that
that's-
just needs to be worked on. I don't have a
has to be
problem with
worked on, right?
mechanization. Yeah, it has to be worked on big time. But anyway,
Because they're running things into the ground the way the commies did.
yeah. So this anyway, I got sidetracked because I am very interested in agriculture. It's very important. There are a lot of amazing political issues to do with agriculture that people don't even think about, and it's literally a part of your everyday life, and people just don't even think about it.
Oh no, really don't
They
care.
don't care. As long as the food ends up on the table, they're thrilled. So I was going to talk about some of the things, like why I said that the Money Witch was crafty is not just because she picked up Broobs to do the collage art, which is lovely, but Broobs is they're interested in illuminating champions of the queer community by bringing visibility to queer artists and activists. And so that was smart to get Broobs on just for that little political angle. But, because, I mean, what sex is Broobs? When I think the name Broobs is probably like bro boobs, so I'm thinking maybe black she-male or something, you know, but in it doesn't matter to me. The artwork's good.
It's very good.
Yes. So, and I wouldn't go for it just because, oh well, Broobs is whatever. No, it's all about the artwork. So, she talks about, this is the money magic money witch. What's her name in here? She did give it. Jessie Susanna Carnuts. Anyway, she uses a word. I should have. Sorry, I didn't get much sleep last night. I was up way more than I was asleep. I only slept about 2 hours. So that's why I was up cooking salmon and stuff like that in the middle of the night. But anyway, she uses a term that I had never come across before,
Was that
and I asked.
Teriyaki?
Yes, thank you for remembering that, because I was trying to find it in the book, and I was like, oh, am I going to find it? Anyway. And I had never heard about it before, and basically it was against, what did she say? Something like white colonial...
Settler colonial.
I don't know what it was.
Probably put male in there.
Yeah, it's probably something like that. And so that's why I think she's crafty, because she's going all along this... she's going with this, what James terms as race mania thing. And so she's giving, like in the back of the book here, she's giving thanks to well, I can't remember where it was, but it was something like she's giving thanks to the people whose land she's standing on, which I can't remember what tribe it was.
Nowadays. They do it at the University of Lethbridge.
But that was very smart.
It's actually important.
It's actually important, yeah. And then she said that somewhere in the book, it was something, I'm really not giving much about the magic, because this was the stuff that my brain clicked onto more than the magic stuff, because honestly, she doesn't have much in there. No. But she does people's taxes, and she's basically, from what I gather from the language that she's using, she prays to God, but she doesn't write God. She writes G. I think it was _D, but it might be G.
Or dash D.
It might be something like that. I can't remember, because I didn't mark the pages or take notes. But it's not important. But from the language that she uses in this book, I gather that she is a part of the crowd of, I would call it New Age Christianity, and it's interesting because it's witchy, and that's the stuff that I've been reading about lately, the Doreen Virtue stuff. So she really got a lot of people going with this. And I will talk about that more later on, but I won't talk about that now, because I'm just trying to stay awake enough to review this particular book, not the issue. So she prays at night, and she's in the shower to God. Well, she won't say God. And G _D, I think. So now I have found that people are dealing with this pandemic and weird global issues right now in different ways, and I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing when we're seeing a lot of New Agey kind of Christian Wiccans or witches out there.
They don't really scare me that much.
Not at all.
People, hardcore Christians, hardcore Muslims, they really scare me.
Yeah. But
because they actually kill people.
Yeah. But I have found that too. If I have comfort when I feel comforted when I'm praying at night and in the bath. I have baths, not showers. Anyway, and I've felt so comforted that I've actually gained weight. So James is a bit concerned that I should.
I'm concerned about your heart.
Yeah, not the physical appearance, because I actually look better when I am this weight. But
up until recently, your heart's been a little bit paining you. But
I think my angels are taking care of me, and I think I'm okay. you know, if I feel that I'm not okay, I will do something about it. But until then, I feel okay. So, and I mean, we hike all the time. That'll keep me strong.
Maybe average once every other day or once every 3 days.
Yeah.
A substantial hike. It's not unusual for it to last 2 hours. I think that's kind of like
Yeah. And
minimum.
that's just our in-town hikes. And if we can do the once a week mountain hike, that'll be longer. That's a day long. Then that's good.
Yeah. The most we've ever done is a 10-mile walk. It seems very slow, but I've got a smashed up back, and 10 hours on my feet's a pretty amazing achievement. When the doctors about 10 years, a little over 10 years ago, were telling me I probably never hike again. Like, that's hiking. So 10 hours on my feet's incredible. Of course, it's where I feel it's not so much my feet, but my back, but I'm able to do it. Important thing is to be able to go out there and have enough left to do the return journey.
But anyway, I can't imagine that Jessie Susanna Carnatz has, I think she has fair complexion when I picture her.
Okay.
What do you picture of her name?
Okay,
I don't know.
with her name, was she saying she was married?
Oh yeah, she was. But maybe she kept the name.
It might be Jessica Susanna Carnatz. I wouldn't be surprised if she were Jewish. No, a lot of Jewish people like Bob Dylan are kind of fair. I think it's blue eyes. Not Simon. Simon's very dark eyes and stuff like that. But Garfunkel, not Simon and Garfunkel, kind of fair.
But in any case,
you know, when Jews usually they're like Leonard Cohen or Leonard Nimoy and stuff like that. Paul Simon, a little bit darker.
But whatever complexion she has, I don't care. That does not matter at all to me. I was listening to CBC a while ago, and there was somebody on, and they were. I don't know who they were, why they were on, why anybody should care what they were reading. Anyway, they were talking about how they chose to read some books by African American people because they realized that they only read books by white people. And it's like, whoa, I have no idea when I'm going into reading a book. I don't know if it's written by an alien or a Chinese supercomputer. I have no clue. I pick
it
up
really
the book
shouldn't
and I read
matter.
it. And anyway, it shouldn't matter to people. It's all about the quality of the book and what you like to read. I mean, maybe you like to read sci-fi and I don't know, whatever. I don't care. Anyway,
So
I thought that was interesting.
there are lots of people. Their awards nowadays are just given for literature and stuff to people of color, from what I can tell.
Well, yeah, and
What are you doing?
It's interesting, you know, if you have there may be a lot of people that write really well or whatever, and I don't. But it is interesting that you see.
It's a monopoly, though. No,
Yeah,
it's
I
just,
know.
Well, that's
it does seem that way, and it's like all fair-colored English-speaking people have forgotten to write for themselves, and they need to outsource.
They mustn't be writing because they're not getting the awards.
They're not getting the awards.
Fascinating.
So maybe they've just forgotten how to write. I don't know. For them, maybe they need more education. So there's that. And this is graphite because I write poems all the time. It's not dirt. So try not to think I'm disgusting when you see my house rugs. I just don't feel like cleaning it every day to get the graphite off.
It'll never come off, really. It doesn't.
Oh,
Well,
it'll
maybe
come off.
with
It
bleach.
comes off. Oh, it
You
comes
want
off.
to bleach it.
You'll see. I'll put it in the wash. You'll see. But what was I going to talk about?
More money, Mandy.
Oh, I was going to talk about, I'll get back to it. I keep getting sidetracked because I'm really tired.
I don't understand how this person got published. Well, maybe the artwork. There's nothing
it's a time
profound.
for it right now. I really should be publishing this sort of genre right now because it is really hot. But I just don't feel like I should publish anything unless it's really worth publishing. And this is more like magazine quality.
It sounded pretty zhuzhu.
Yeah.
But it's like undergraduate stuff. You were mentioning student. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The artist is a student and actually does some good work. But I don't know if this is even student level stuff. Mm-hmm. The written stuff.
And well, I am glad that she gave up stripping. Yeah. It's got to be tough for an aging woman. I mean, really, that's a young woman's game, isn't it? You don't hear of a lot of 40-year-old strippers out there or anything like that. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't go watch strippers. I have no idea. But anyway, it is a little interesting to hear somebody who was a stripper, who I don't want to be offensive about strippers, but honestly, you make money by dancing naked, teasing men, or other women, perhaps, maybe, I don't know. You make a lot of it, and I'm not saying that it would be a great job to have or anything. It's not one that I mean, some people told me, you should be a stripper. And I thought, no. But when I was young, nobody's told me that for a long time. Which again is why I think it's a young woman's game. Mm-hmm. In my early 20s, I would get that. Anyway.
The sad thing is, I suppose that, well, it's sad that people would say that, but some women, most women would never get anyone ever say that. They just didn't have the looks.
Well, it's too bad that anybody has anybody say that to them, honestly.
It's true. It's sad our society said it. Weird thing. As I meant to say with my preamble.
I mean, she knows where to make her money. She finds her little niche somewhere. It was stripping, and I'm sure she made a lot of money. I'm sure she was a very lovely stripper. But to have her talking about the white capitalist, evil, whatever, it's a little bit ridiculous. To have a stripper putting down capitalists. And yeah, an ex-stripper, so maybe I'm a little bit, maybe I shouldn't say that. But honestly, I can't think of any position besides pimping that would be more capitalist than stripping. Honestly. So
maybe she was part of a stripping commune or something. So much commune.
She kind of referred to it, like she said she used to be the manager, head madam, and then she said like head of her stripper co-op or whatever, like trying to make it seem better. Yeah? Well, kind of funny. Anyway, maybe she was kind of joking and whatever good, but honestly,
if she was like almost like the madam, she's an exploiter.
Yeah. Anyway, so that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I did like the fact that she was very open about talking about herself and things in her life that went on, like whatever. But so yeah, I'm not opposed to the money witch exactly. She's just not really my kind of person. I can see, she's found her niche and good for her, whatever. But I wouldn't recommend the book to anybody. It's the stuff that she's figured out is basic stuff that, basically, like she talks about know what your credit score is. I don't think you should. I have an excellent credit rating. James doesn't.
I've got about the worst credit rating you can get.
Because he's never borrowed any money at all.
Well,
so he's
correction,
never...
$138.
Oh, yeah,
back in the day for my education.
So
138.
Yeah.
And
because they don't give unless you're a really poor person or you apply for scholarships and you get them because your marks are high, then you don't get the funding. If you had parents that were professionals, if they made money. So like James had run into that trouble, and my ex had run into it too. His mother was a curator director of an art gallery, and she made a comfortable salary, but he didn't get any of that to go to school, so he didn't get to go to university. He went became a worker in a pet shop, in a pet store. So he made minimum wage in a pet store. So that was great for him. Even though he was a genius, he'd work on physics equations to try to increase flow rates in his saltwater tanks and stuff like that.
You're saying calculus.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Tired.
Well, but basically it is physics.
So anyway, she was in the book. She was talking about. I'm all for giving thanks to the natives when you're squatting on their land, as we are. But she was in the book. She's talking about the remembering or acknowledging the African Americans and the fact that America was built on slavery.
Absolutely not.
And that's not true. And especially she's from California. Wasn't there. So read some history. Figure out.
Well, read it with a kind of like a jaundiced eye.
Yeah.
For Pete's sake. Like the richest part of the United States going up to the Civil War was the South. And that was built on slavery. But the folks up in the North were actually kind of pre-industrial.
Mm-hmm.
After the Civil War, once they couldn't have slavery, the people in the South, they fell behind. They're still falling behind because they're still begrudging that. The South will rise again. Yeah, so will my gorge if it happens.
So I think she's marketing herself to do taxes. Magic.